Well, hello, friends. Real quick before we kick off the episode, I have to let you know about something exciting. I am seriously considering having an upgraded version of this podcast where you get bonus episodes and exclusive content. But here's the deal, I'm trying to decide what that content and those episodes should be. I do have some ideas, and I was wondering if you could vote really quick and tell me what you think about what would entice you, what would be interesting to you to get as bonus episodes on this podcast. For example, deeper dives into topics. Maybe I'm answering questions that many of you ask about starting or growing a business. Maybe even overhearing coaching calls, something like this. It would be a paid, upgraded version of this podcast, not very expensive at all, probably just a handful of dollars a month, but it be extra content for you to help you along your journey. My whole goal is to help you build your business dream. And I would love to offer you even more because some of you are asking for it. So if you could just look down in the show notes right now, there's two ways you can give me your answers. Number one, I have a Google form with 5 quick questions. It can be anonymous. You just answer them and vote on what would be interesting to you. Or number two, I have a voice memo system. You can just click it and you could just leave a voice memo with your phone right now and just record it and tell me what kind of topics, what things would be interesting to you behind the scenes, market news, what would be things that would be extra that would be really valuable to you. So thank you all so much. Okay, on to the episode.
Well, hello, this is Kimberly Brock, and for over 20 years, I've been running my own businesses that have not only been profitable, but personally fulfilling to me. So now I'm on a mission to help other new business owners just like you make money doing what you love too. Now we're going to have some fun, so let's get started. Well, hello, this is Kimberly. It's episode 194, and I am so glad that you're here today. If you read the title to this episode, are you like, what? Really? Yes, friends. I was a greeter at Walmart. Oh my gosh, I'm going to talk to you about it today and the lessons that I've learned and how they apply to you and your business. If you are new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you found this podcast. You're getting to know me pretty well right away from this episode alone. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here. If you are in the idea stage, maybe you're in the planning stage, you're starting or growing your business, you're in the right place. I am so happy you're here. Make sure, new friend, that you get plugged in. I have a free Facebook group called Women Starting Businesses Doing What We Love, and I would love for you to be a part of it. It's a very supportive community of women who are all starting and growing their businesses too. It's the place where you can ask those silly questions. You think they're silly. I don't think they're silly. I think they're amazing questions. You know why? Because everyone else in the group has the same questions, and a lot of people are scared to ask them. So if you need feedback on something, you're looking for recommendations, you need ideas, whatever it is, make sure you do that in our free Facebook group, and you can join it today. So how do you join? All you have to do is scroll down in the show notes right now. You will see a link to it. It'll say free Facebook group. Click here. You'll click it. It's going to take you to Facebook. There's going to be 3 quick questions you answer. Okay. Then you'll be in a little bit of a holding pattern until I see your request and approve you. And then you will be in the group and you can ask away. And we have fun posts each week where you can comment on those. For example, we have Imperfect Action Mondays where you set out for that week what you need to get done imperfectly. I know that's hard for a lot of you because you want to do everything perfectly and you don't want to put anything out there that's not the most amazing thing ever. And let me tell you something, friends, that's what stalls you, trying to be a perfectionist. So everybody stop that. You have to just get this thing going. Anyways, get in the group today. If you're new, I've got some other free downloads for you and goodies that you're going to need, like the 16-step checklist for getting your business started. If you haven't started your business yet and you want to know all the steps. So anyways, do all that now if you are new. And I welcome you today. If you've been listening a while, thank you so much to all my loyal listeners. And today I'm reading a review. And this is actually one of my clients. I did not tell her to leave a review. She left one on her own volition. This is from Genuinely Gina.
And I'm going to tell you the name of her business. She didn't put it in the review, and I want to tell it to you. It's called Be Free Daily. She has overcome MS by living a toxic-free life. She has got an amazing story to tell, and she has a business where she is selling non-toxic products for your life, for your everyday life. And again, it's called Be Free Daily. And I just have to share her review. I had to give her a shout out and her business a shout out because she is one amazing woman. She titled the podcast Life Changing. It says, I pondered across the podcast about a year ago. I've been wanting to start a business for quite some time. I just didn't know exactly how I wanted to do it or what I wanted to do. After taking a deep dive and listening to about 30 episodes in a week, I ripped off the Band-Aid and dove headfirst. I joined the Just Getting Started group, such a phenomenal group of ladies who will all wholeheartedly support one another. Within several months, I launched my business. Now I am part of the Grow Getters group, another amazing group of entrepreneurial women. Kimberly is a wholesome, caring business coach who has changed my life. It says, thank you, Kimberly. Oh my goodness, Gina. This is the sweetest review. Thank you so much for taking time to write this. And this just means the world to me. So thank you. If you too have been listening to the podcast, maybe you've only been here a few months, or maybe you've been here a few years and you have never written a review and you feel that this podcast is valuable to you, would you be so kind to leave a quick review? You can hit the 5 stars for 5-star rating, whatever player you're in. I know Apple Podcasts has it as like 5 stars. And then you can be like genuinely Gina and write a written review. And it just means the world to me. I can't even tell you. So thank you all so much. Okay, on to the episode. Well, hello, everyone. How are you? What is going on? What is going on with your business? I'm dying to know how you're progressing, what you're taking action on, what you're taking imperfect action on, what you're courageously doing, what you're doing that's even out of your comfort zone. I can't wait to hear. I hope you're posting in the group. If you're in the Women Starting Businesses group, if you're in one of my paid programs in the Just Getting Started group or Grow Getters, make sure you post your wins and things that are happening in your business because I absolutely love to see your progress. And it makes me so happy. Today, oh yes, my friends, I'm telling you about my very first job, which was as a Walmart greeter. Oh yes, you heard me right. I was a greeter at Walmart. Are y'all dying? Are y'all cracking up? When I tell people this, they're like, say what? I mean, people's faces, it cracks. And it literally cracks me up. Like I'm giggling too because I think it's funny. But today I'm sharing the story with you for an important reason so that you can learn some lessons that I've learned from that experience and you can take them with you as you go. Okay. I think they're really important business lessons. And that's why I thought today I was working on some of my stuff for like email sequences for my customers that just joined the list. And I happened to say in one of the emails that my first job was at Walmart. And I was like, why have I never done a podcast episode on this? This is good info. This is some good scoop right here, right? Something you didn't know about me. And I just think there's so much to be learned from it. And so I was just going to tell you the story and then teach you the lessons that I've learned. And I'm going to pass the torch on to you and hope that you take some of this and apply it to your journey as you're building your amazing business, right? So I grew up outside of Austin, Texas. It's in a town called Georgetown and it's booming now. And y'all, it was just this little town. It was just like little town. We were maybe 3A. Were we 3A, 4A? Maybe we were 4A. And then we moved to 5A at some point. I think we went back to 4A. If y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyways, I think it was when I turned 16. It was either 16 or 17. And I was like, I want to get a job. Well, we had heard and we had known in our town that we were finally, y'all, getting a Walmart. We did not have a Walmart. I'm sure no one can imagine that now because every small town, everywhere has a Walmart. And not everywhere around us, we had a Walmart. And we were so excited. Like we were literally excited. We were like, y'all, we're getting a Walmart because it was just the grocery store or you had to drive, maybe like 25, 30 minutes. I can't remember to get to the nearest Walmart. It was far. And we all like the discounts at Walmart. We don't necessarily always love being in there. Am I right? Do y'all love being in Walmart? Raise your hand. Do you love being in Walmart? I don't know. Sometimes I do because I feel like I'm getting a good price. So I'm happy. But you know what? There's other things going on in Walmart that I'm kind of like, Target. But anyways, I'm not bashing Walmart. Walmart, you're amazing. Thank you for being around and being in small towns. And thank you for employing me in my very first job. I'm very appreciative for real. For real, I am. So when I was turning 16, 17, I don't know exactly. I wish I could remember, but the Walmart was being built. And I thought, you know what? Told my parents, I said, I'm going to apply at Walmart. Maybe I could get a job. I'd like to be a checker. I wanted to be a checker. I thought that sounded so fun. I'm a math person. I like numbers. I like the ding, ding, ding. I like shopping. So it fit me and I could be social, I could be there. Well, I went and applied for the job and they said, you could be a greeter first. You could be a greeter. And I think I was doing this as a summer job. And I was like, I can be a greeter. Okay, I'll work my way up. Y'all, I was super excited about it. I'm not even kidding. There was no shame in my game. Like, this was a new Walmart. Like, I was going to be at the new store in town. You know what I'm saying? Like, the new store. We were getting a Walmart. Georgetown was now on the map. We were on the map. We had a Walmart. So I got a job as a greeter. Loved it. I know y'all are probably thinking I'm crazy, but I loved it. And I looked very, very young for my age at the time. Like I probably looked 12 or 13. So people were like, what is going on? Is this like violation of child labor laws? Like what is happening? But I would greet everybody that came in. I would give them a cart. I would put the carts back. People would leave crud in the carts, like they're junk, they're trash. And I would have to throw it away. But I would organize the carts over there and I was a greeter. Well, soon I got promoted to be a checker. Loved it. Would see people from high school. They would come through. I would talk to people. I would see parents of my friends. I was trying to be the fastest. You would get timed on how fast you are pushing the stuff through as a checker. Did y'all know this? Like I don't know if they still do this, but this was when was this? The late 80s. This was the late 80s. And I'm pushing the stuff through, and we're getting timed on it. So I was trying to be fast. I was trying to be super quick. And I would you'd log in on the cash register. You'd hit it when you start a customer and you go, and you're pushing all the stuff through the cart and you're pricing it. And then you would get so mad if the SKU didn't work or the pricing didn't work and it slowed you down. You're like, dang it. Or if apples fell out of a bag, you're like, oh my gosh, it's slowing me down. You get it all in. Then you press total, boom. And that was your time. So much fun. I was loving that. I totally was loving that. So I had my job as a checker. Later, I went on to become a hostess and then a waitress, not at Walmart. There was no restaurant at Walmart, but I'm saying other places, a waitress. I did that for a while, but I was so little. People would cringe every time I would hold the tray and I would bring their food. And I was like, you know what? Maybe this isn't the best job for me. Anyways, then I kept saying, I want to get an internship. This was in college, and I did. I ended up getting an internship at Dell my senior year, Dell Computers. It was amazing. And then I had a full-time job when I graduated and worked there for 6 or 7 years. So I was in sales. Then I was a sales manager. Loved it. Loved my job as a sales manager. I loved being with people, managing numbers, motivating people, all of that, right? And then eventually had my first child, and I did get married. Before the first child, before all that, there's a lot going on in between there. But then I started a business with a friend and it's been, history ever since, because then I started my online boutiques that I ran for 19 years. And now this business that I've had for 3.5 years. Here's my point, y'all. This is the lessons that I want you to take away from my story about being a Walmart greeter. And by the way, I'm not embarrassed about this at all. Some of you may be giggling. I think some of you have had, jobs that maybe felt nowadays, looking back, was I low on the totem pole? Was it not very significant? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that job. Are y'all thinking about that? I mean, maybe you cleaned somewhere. Maybe you were clean toilets at a restaurant. Who knows what you did? We all have stories, and mine is not that bad. Seriously. Come on. I was a greeter at Walmart. That's pretty good. I wasn't having to do other gross stuff, right? I wasn't having to clean toilets, but I'm sure some of you may have had to, right? And we have to do what we have to do, which brings me to my 3 points. Number 1, we all start at ground zero. Sometime, some way, somehow, we start at zero. Don't you know that? It's like, I was thinking about too, when you're born and you come out and you don't have any clothes on and you're just naked and you're like a naked little baby and you're born This is how we come into the world. It's how we leave the world. We may have clothes on when we leave the world, but basically that's really what we are from the beginning. It's this little being with skin that God made us so beautifully and wonderfully made. We know this, right? But we all start at zero. When I started this business here, y'all, I started this Facebook group, that I talk about, the Women Starting Business Facebook group, there was zero. And I swear I took a picture. Because I was like, oh my gosh, I started my group. There's zero. I can't wait to look back one day and see it at zero. I wonder if if I'll ever get 100 or 200 members. Like, I had no idea what this was going to do. I just knew I was doing it. I started at zero. I started my business Instagram. I had zero. Y'all, I'm not an influencer. I'm not famous. I don't know a bazillion people. I wasn't one of those people that's like highly networked everywhere. I'm just not. I'm just not. And so I started at zero and I had to get my friends to like my Instagram and like slowly start building this up. But I kept, I had this like weird prideful thing where I'm like, I just don't want it to just be all my friends. Like, I actually want to know that I have real people on my business Instagram. And that was the time when I started, but I wasn't even on it. I didn't even hardly post anything at all because I've never been on Instagram. I don't even know what I'm doing. I still don't feel like I know what I'm doing. I mean, I'm doing it. I'm doing more now and I'm kind of getting the feel for it, but it just doesn't come super naturally to me. That's just the truth. Some of you are like, what? It's easy. It's fun. It's awesome. It's amazing for your business. That's great. This is what makes the world go round. Okay. We each to his own, right? Anyways, my point is we all started zero. I started at zero. With this business, with no clients, no email list, no Instagram followers, no public speaking experience, no podcasting experience. I started all of this at zero. I started this podcast with zero people listening. Zero. You're starting at zero too at some point. But you know what? You listening may be way more fortunate than I was when I started this. Like, maybe you already have followers. You've already been in this industry for a long time. You know a bazillion people. You're rocking and rolling and awesome. I'm so happy for you. But there was a time before this that you started at zero. Don't you agree? So we all started at zero. Let's never, ever forget that. Let's not forget where we came from, where it all started. Some people had really tough upbringings and they started with no opportunity, no money, and no resources, right? And some of you overcame that. Maybe you went to college, you did other things, and that was your zero, right? So everybody's got a different zero of where they started. This was kind of my zero. Like, Walmart was my ground zero. I started, that was my first job, and I loved it, and I did the best that I could at it. I loved it. I had no shame in my game. I worked at Walmart. I told my friend, I work at Walmart. Later I found out my sister was 5 years younger than me. And later I found out, I guess I was in college. So I wasn't as much in touch with her when I was in college. Found out later, she's like, I worked at Taco Bell, right? I was like, what? You worked at Taco Bell? I had no idea. Y'all, she ended up being an actress. My sister lives in California and has been an actress. Yes. She's done well. I'm so happy for her. She has 2 kids now, 2 little girls that are absolutely precious. And, she's trying to do acting when she can, but she's trying to be present for her girls and her husband. So, she's choosing her life path. But I'm just laughing because her ground zero was Taco Bell. Like Taco Bell drive-through. She did it and she's the cutest, most beautiful thing. And it's just hilarious. It cracked me up. I was like, you worked at Taco Bell. She's like, oh yeah, the smell at Taco Bell in the back. I'll never forget it. I was like, okay, enough said. Enough. Anyways, we all start at zero. So I want you to stop right now, whatever you're doing, and think about where's your zero? Was it somewhere when you were young? Is it somewhere in a teenage life, a young adult, or maybe now? Maybe it's now you're starting at zero. You're starting a whole new career. I have a lot of clients that have had careers for 20, 25 years, 30 years, and they're like, I'm starting something new, and they are at their ground zero. Maybe this is your second ground zero. Maybe you had a ground zero, and now you're starting a new ground zero. Give yourself a pat on the back. This is amazing. We all start at ground zero somewhere. We've got a story. All of us, all of you have a story. Remember that. Number 1, don't ever forget that you start at zero and you can only go up from there. It's amazing. Number 2, whatever the opportunity is that you have before you right now, be excited about it and give it your best. That's what I learned from my experience at Walmart. Like, every time I think back, there's no negative, there's no shame. I have nothing but positive thoughts about it. It was a great time in my life. I was starting to make my own money more than the allowance that my parents gave me for cleaning house and dusting and vacuuming and doing my weekly chores. Like freedom. I was starting my own journey. I was empowering myself. Whatever opportunity it is that's before you, let's say you're at your ground zero with your new business, but you've got a part-time job and maybe you have another part-time job. Be excited for those opportunities that you have to have those part-time jobs, that you are getting employed by someone. Maybe you work for a family, you work for someone else, you have a job, whatever it is, you have that and give it your best, because that's only going to help you if you're trying to start this business on the side or full-time. It's going to fuel that. It's going to drive you. It's going to financially support this, because at first you're not going to make hardly any money. A lot of people don't. And then all of a sudden they do. For the majority, there's exceptions, which I'm not going to go into right now. There is exceptions to the rule. But for the most part, a lot of people, it takes a little bit of ramping up, right? Be excited and give your best to the opportunity or opportunities that are before you right now. Whatever that is. If you are a greeter at Walmart, you show up and be excited and give your best, okay? Which brings me to number 3. This is part of your journey. This is part of your story. This is what's making you you. You get to look back at this. Like today, I'm sitting here reflecting when I was a greeter at Walmart. I was a greeter at Walmart. I mean, think about that for a minute. That's part of my journey that I have almost forgotten about. Like, I don't remember when I even first mentioned it not that long ago. I think it was in the Grow Getters group, and we were on a Zoom call, and I said, y'all, my first job, I was a Walmart greeter, fun fact. And they were like, what? I could see their faces on the Zoom call. And it's not that bad, because I'm sure y'all have other stories that are way more, way better than that. They're way better than that, right? And they're more shocking, right? Of where you came from and where you are now. Like, I know y'all have way more stories. I'm not acting like mine is some. I'm just saying I was proactive. I wanted money. I got that job because it sounded fun to me, and I gave it my best. And now I could look back and say, well, this is what led to this. Because I was a greeter, I did well. I respected my manager. I did my job. I was on time. I did it with gusto and zest and zeal. And I was happy to be there. I wasn't over the top, but I was doing my job, right? It's not like I was some flamboyant person at the front. No, I was like chill and happy and greeted and talked to everyone. But then I got moved up to checker. And so then that checker job was my next step. Right. I did great with that and got a great recommendation for my next job when I wanted to be a hostess and a waitress. And then that was all part of my story when I went to go get my internship at Dell Computers. And I mean, everything is added up to where I am today. So I want you to realize that this is all part of your journey and part of your story, and love it. Embrace it. This is it for you. This is what you get to reflect back on. You have to kind of be in love with your story. Like, this is amazing. This is amazing. And what an opportunity you have right now with this business. Some of you may be saying, well, I hardly have any time. I don't have any money. Like, how am I supposed to get this? You can get this thing going. I promise you, you can. You're going to have to take up some of your time, or you're going to have to take up some of your money. Just choose. Like, figure it out. But be excited that this is part of your journey, that you're figuring it out, even with a full-time job and a part-time job, or 2 part-time jobs. I mean, clients of mine have 2 part-time jobs and they're starting their business. So nobody can like say, oh no, woe's me. Like, there's all kinds of people in my groups and my programs that are my clients. Some people are just stay-at-home moms and they're starting a business. Some have been teachers or have had a completely different career, or a nurse and like want to start a business. It's amazing. This is part of your story. This is how you're beginning. Let's review these again. Y'all, don't forget. We all start at 0. That's number 1. We all start at 0. Maybe this is your new 0. Maybe you had a previous 0. Maybe you had 2 or 3 zeros in your life. Then great. You're proof that you can go from 0 on up, right? We all start at 0. Number 2, be excited and give your best to the opportunities before you, whatever they are. If you've got multiple jobs and you're trying to start a business, or if you're just trying to start a business, that's the opportunity before you. How amazing is this? Give it all you got. Give it due diligence and be excited that you're at 0 and you got your first Instagram follower. Be excited for that. Relish it. You won't be in this position forever. You won't. This tube will pass and you'll move on. And you might even forget, like me, that you were a greeter at Walmart. And number 3, this is your journey. This is your story. This is part of it. This is what you get to share. This is what you get to look in the mirror and go, I did it. I did this. Look where I came from. We often forget to do that. I had forgotten. Like, look what all this took to get here. But it was one smart step in front of the other. It was one happy step. It was one positive step. It was one step at a time where I gave it my all every time and was loving it. And no shame in my game on any of it. No shame, ever. Never. Still no shame. I love it. I love to tell people I was a greeter at Walmart because they look at me now and they're like, really? They look at me and they're like, what? You're not really the epitome of the Walmart greeter? I'm like, no, but I loved it. Thank you, Walmart, for my first job. It's amazing. So y'all, please learn these lessons too today. Soak them in and realize that wherever you started, it's just a starting point. And approach it with zeal and gusto. Go for it. Be appreciative. And remember that this is just part of your journey. I'm so excited for each of you. I really am. You have no idea. I'm so proud of you for your courage, for your tenacity, for your drive, for your discipline. You're doing this. If you would love someone to walk beside you as you are on this journey so that you don't feel alone, make sure you check out my programs. Oh yes, I have programs you can join and we can work together. I have the Just Getting Started group for those of you who do not have your business open yet. If you do not have a business that's open yet, check out the Just Getting Started group. I lay out all the plans for starting your business to make sure you cover everything and you keep it simple. You keep it super simple and stop complicating it, okay? If you have your business open, you're probably like, oh my goodness, how do I start telling people about this? How do I start putting myself out there without being weird and salesy? How do I do stuff that feels authentic to me? How do I market myself in a way that feels true to me and not, like someone else? Like I can do this authentically and comfortably. That's what Grow Getters is for. We're here to help you grow and get to consistent sales. So make sure you check out Grow Getters right now too. Also too, if you're thinking about starting a podcast, did y'all know I just did a beta program called Bingeworthy to help those of you start your own business podcast? Make sure you get on the wait list for that. I'm not sure when I'm going to open the doors again to that. I'm still toying around with how to do it, if I turn it into a course or a group coaching program again. I don't know. I'm working on it. We just wrapped up the program with my other new podcasters. It was so much fun. But if this is you, make sure you get on the wait list for that too, and I'll notify you. But that's it. There's no reason for you to do this alone. You can get help. It's waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. So that is it. Y'all have a wonderful day. Until next time, bye now.
Now, this episode may be over, but our relationship does not have to end here. Head on over to KimberlyBrock.com, and yes, you can get more valuable information for your journey. And you know what? You don't need to go through this alone. I would love to help you. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.